Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about emphasis on the public sector. Okay. So here public sector means the economy under the control of the government. So that is known as public sector. Okay. So emphasis means importance. Okay. So here there are some important points which says about the importance of the public sector. Okay. So coming to the subject. So state was given an active and a dominant role in the economy. Okay, so here state is nothing but the government or overall country. Okay, so here state was given to be an active role and a dominant role in the economy, so that is known as public sector. Okay, so whenever we got independence, in that time only our government decided, so that is giving powers to the state or entire government. Okay, so there were no doubts regarding this important topic in the minds of the people who formed the dominant political force at that time. Okay, it means there were no doubts in the political leadership also. It means the entire team, entire the political and the nationalist leaders. So they decided to give the powers, entire powers to the public sector or government. Okay. So here PSUs means public sector undertakings. Okay. So here public sector undertakings means the enterprises who comes to the government to control, that those are we are calling the PSUs. It means the public sector undertakings. Okay. So here the heavy investment is possible in the public sector only. Okay. So here the heavy investment in the public sector undertakings are purely natural. Okay. So here we may understand the reasons behind the ambitious expansion of the PSUs for the major requirements. Okay, so we can understand the some important reasons why we expanded under the control of the public sector. Okay. So next one is coming to the first point. So that is in the infrastructural needs. So here mostly infrastructural needs means power, transportation, communication. Okay. So these are very important for the getting the growth and development. Okay. So every economy, so whether it is agrarian or industrial, okay, whatever it may be, whatever the type of the economy is going in the country, but we need infrastructure. Okay. At the suitable levels of the infrastructure we need, such as power, transportation and communication. So these three are very important for the country. So whether it is agrarian economy or industrial economy, whatever it is, but we need these important resources for the getting growth and development. Okay. So without their healthy presence and expansion, it means without those infrastructural presence and expansion, so there is no economy. Okay, it means economy cannot grow and develop. Okay. So at the time of the independence, it means when we got independence, in that time, so there were no basic requirements for India, especially for getting the development. Okay, so there was just a beginning on the area of the railways, a post and a telegraph. In that time, so smallly they were developing in the country, but there were no such basic requirements not available in the India at the time of the independence. Okay. So even India adopted agriculture as its prime moving force, but it had to develop the infrastructure sector also. Okay, so because we need transportation, it means we need roadways, railways, waterways. Okay, so not only producing the agricultural goods, but we have to transport those goods from one place to another place, from one country to another country. It means transportation is very important and communication is very important. Okay, so not only industrial but agriculture economy also need the infrastructure sector. Okay, so these sectors require too much capital investment as well as heavy engineering. Okay, so it means it needs capital investment and technological support also for the better and healthy development. Okay. So here one important thing, that is expansion of the infrastructure sector was considered not possible by the private sector. Okay, it is very truly point that is saying in the Indian economy. So expansion of the infrastructure is never possible by the private sector, it is only possible by the public sector, because power means each and everyone needs power and transportation. So each and every common people also, they need the transportation. Okay, so private sector, they cannot invest that much of the amount of money on the infrastructure. Okay, so it will be done only by the government or public sector. Okay, so for example, technology, it means we need a lot of technology for getting the infrastructural needs. Heavy investment is very important thing, but it was not possible by the private sector, because whenever we got independence, in that time all were the poor people only, because our wealth was drained by the Britishers. Okay, so in that time there was no wealth in the hands of single persons. Okay, and skilled manpower, we need skilled manpower. It was not possible by the private sector to collect all the people for the, especially for the working. Okay, and entrepreneurship. Okay, so these are not possible by the private sector, only will be done by the government sector or private public sector. Okay, so here these infrastructure needs are very essential for the economy. Okay, so for getting the growth and development in the economy point of view, we need infrastructural needs. Okay, so but whenever comes to the private sector, they needed subsidies or free of cost whenever they're involving in the infrastructure development. Okay, under these typical conditions, it was only the government can provide and take responsibility. Okay, so in these critical conditions and in these typical conditions, so there is one option, that is infrastructural needs will be fulfilled by the government or public sector only. Okay, so it means not only government providing, but supplication and distribution to the poor areas also. So yes, government is going to provide the important infrastructural needs. It means providing power, transportation, roadways, railways, and communication. Yes, of course, but it has the responsibility to develop each and every area, whether it is poor area or a rich area, whether it is rural or urban areas, whatever it may be. But our government or public sector has responsibility to provide and to distribute to all the people. Okay, so on this situation there was no alternative. Okay, that is only the result is government or public sector has the responsibility to fulfill these infrastructural needs. Okay, so in many areas the government has the monopolies. It means only one and important thing, and it has the responsibility, it has the power to invest money in some areas of the economy. For example, power, railways, aviation, telecommunication. In these uh, important areas, the government or public sector only has the 100% of the power. Okay, so next, second one is industrial needs. So actually at the time of the independence when we got, so in that time India announced industrial sector as its prime moving force, right? So now there were some areas of industries which the government had to invest in due to several compulsive reasons. Okay, so here there are some there were some compulsive and typical conditions, so that's why the government had to invest in those areas. Okay, especially for the industrialization in India. So there are some certain industries are very essential. Okay, so are known as basic industries, infrastructure industries, core industries. So these industries are very important. Okay, so next, in 2013, two industries were added to six initial industries. Okay, so those are natural gas and fertilizers. Okay, so here total six important industries in 2013 were refinery products. It means diesel, LPG, liquid petroleum gas, jet fuel, kerosene. So these are comes under the refinery products. Electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement, and fertilizers. Okay, so these basic industries or infrastructure industries or core industries need heavy investment. Okay, So here heavy industry is also not possible for the private sector. Okay. So, if the private sector involved in this basic industries, and for example, so they supplied goods from the basic industries, so they might not be able to sell their products in the market because of the lower purchasing power of the consumers. They never sell their products in the market. Okay, so this is the negative point for the private sector. So, which wants to get the partnership in the main and basic industries. Okay, so this is why again the responsibility of the developing basic industries was taken by the government itself. Okay. So out of six industries, cement industry has some strength in the private sector, and iron and steel industry also has a strength in private sector. Coal industry was controlled by the private sector in some areas. Crude oil and refinery products was also beginning in the point of the private sector. Okay, so these are the developments in the basic industries, but the level of expansion in them was not possible by the existing number of the private players. There were some private players, there were some private persons who wants to involve in these basic industries, but the level of the expansion, it was not possible by the present or existing private persons. Okay, so with no choice left, okay, again the government decided to play a main role in the industrializing country also. Okay, and coming to the third point, that is employment generation. Okay, so here PSUs, it means public sector undertakings, were also seen as an important part of the employment generation strategy. Okay, so here, so our country was faced with a serious problem of poverty. Okay, so after whenever we got independence, in that time only there was a mass poverty was there. Okay, so especially the main aim is providing employment opportunities to underprivileged people, so is a tool to eliminate the poverty. Okay, so in that time, so our political leaders decided to eliminate the poverty by providing the economy, it means employment generation. Okay, okay, so in that time they taken decision, that is land reforms. Okay, so not only with the land reforms but reservations to the weaker sections also. Okay, so they taken two important decisions by creating the equal environment in the society for eliminating the poverty. Okay, so Nehruji referred to the PSUs as temples of the modern India, but oversupply of the labor, draining its profit on account of the salaries, wages and pensions, etc. Okay, so here Nehruji referred these public sector undertakings. Because of the public sector undertakings, each and everyone gets the employment. Okay, so but after such time, so after some oversupply of the labor, so it was considered as a draining of the profit, its profit, not only but they are not getting the profit, so their profit is going for such things like pensions, salaries and wages. So this is a negative backdrop. And fourth point, so that is profit in the development of the social sector. Okay, so here the investment was made by the government in PSUs was in the nature of the asset creation, and these entities were to be involved in the production activities. Okay, so mostly social sector means they can supply the social goods or public goods to all the people, especially for the poor people. Okay, so India was to have a developed social sector. Okay, so for example, those are education, healthcare, nutrition, drinking water and social security in India. Okay, so we are supplying these goods and services to each and every citizen. Okay, so due to many reasons, due to many compulsive reasons, PSUs, public sector undertakings, would not be able to generate a profit for healthy development. Okay, in place of giving back the profit to the government by these important services and goods, so a large number of the PSUs started getting the losses and required budgetary support also. Okay, so because of the overloading, because of the oversupply of these goods and services to all the people who who are very poor. So in that time, in place of the getting profit, but these PSUs were in the losses. Okay, and they need the budget support also regularly. Okay. So because of these important situations, so there was a chance for the rise of the private sector. Okay, so along with the PSUs, private sector industries were slowly established. So industrialization was completed. Okay, so next PSUs were aimed at many other connected areas of development concerns, such as self-sufficiency in production and balanced regional development. Okay, so we need balanced regional development and spread of small and small industries also. Okay, so here self sufficiency in production is very important. So this is the main aim of the public sector. Okay, and we need the long term equilibrium in balance of payment. Okay, it means trading in the point of trading, so we need equilibrium, okay, without any negative impacts. So by the mid 1980s, International Monetary Fund and World Bank consensus. There was some important things. They started to providing the information to all the countries who are in the inefficiency and underperformance of the PSUs. So just in the wake of the Washington consensus. Okay, so it started to promote the neoliberal economic policies for getting out of those inefficiency and underperformance of the PSUs. Okay, so since 2006 and 17 in India, so that is the financial year, the government decided to restart the strategic disinvestment. Okay,